Good morning everyone, how you doing? It's Michelle, welcome to my channel. You're very welcome here. Today is the 1st of September. Wow, we're in September already. September is obviously the 9th month of the year and it's about completion. So we're tying up loose ends, things are going to be completing for you, things are going to be changing. So this could be coming to an end of relationships, of job situation, careers, friendships, whatever it is, there's going to be closure this month and then we're stepping into the new. So it's really exciting. September's always a great month because it's my birthday tomorrow. So yeah, we're all getting prepared to spend some time with my family tomorrow, which is always great to have some time, some special time with them. But I just want to go over, I'm just talking with Metatron this morning, sitting with him, and he just gave me a little bit of information which I did write down. So apart from the completion, when we're completing something, it's a great time to set your intentions, to also look at gratitude, what you're thankful for. Reflection's a great time at the beginning of the month to reflect back on the last month, and wow, what a last month has been. Such a topsy-turvy, turbulent, bumpy road, as we've done a lot of inner work on ourselves. So well done, pat yourself on the back, you've got through it, and that's going to be completing. Okay, this month is connected to relationships. Okay, it is going to get you looking at all of your relationships, not just your romantic ones, but also the relationship you have with yourself. Are you pouring from a half empty cup? Do you need to take some self-care time, which is so important? Do you accept who you are right now in this moment, warts and all? The things that you know you need to change, the things you don't particularly like about yourself that you need to work on, your triggers, the people that trigger you, those relationships are mirroring back to you. And I keep banging on about that, but it's just so key to think about those triggers and how you can respond rather than reacting. So this month is about abundance. So it's really appreciating all that you have, because when we focus on what we already have and are appreciative of that, that's when we get more of the same coming in, rather than focusing on stuff that we haven't got, that we're desperate to have. That's not how it works. Okay, I know it's hard to not focus on things that you're worried about and stuff, but try and be grateful for what you've got. Okay, what else did he say? Yeah, focus on what you have in your life and more of that will come to you. So the positive stuff, not the negative. So this month is also about looking back at all of our relationships, as I said, but going over those relationships, the good and the bad, and what have you learned from them? What have you learned that you're now implementing in other relationships, and what is still coming up and being triggered in the same relationships or any new ones that you've created? Because if we've got a belief or a pattern or a behaviour that we haven't looked at and worked on, it's going to keep going. It could be connected to a past life that you've brought it in with you. It could be an ancestral line. So look at the patterns within your family, you know, because you could be the one that says, actually, I'm going to stop that behaviour, that thought in my family, and I'm going to heal it, not only for me, but all of my ancestors and all of those future generations that are going to come in. And that's really powerful work. I'd love to hold space for you to do that work. You can contact me on michellewestinfo@gmail.com and you can have a one-to-one session with me. So I want to also talk about difficult relationships this morning. And these, again, I don't want to keep you focused on your romantic ones. It's all of your relationships. We tend to sort of look at our intimate relationships, but look at all of them. And it is about knowing when to give up and knowing when to step back. Right, so if you've got a relationship that you want to have a relationship with somebody, but it's a a strange one or a difficult one, and you're trying to come from all different angles. So you've gone through that maybe quite frustrating, angry phase, and you're trying to look at, how can I do this differently? So you may have come from the jovial, sort of jokey way of getting your point across, of sitting down and actually having those difficult conversations and thinking you've got through to someone, or thinking that they've listened to your point of view and you've listened to them, because it's important to have that dual aspect of hearing and speaking. And then the same thing happens again, and so you have the next, so you're repeating the same conversations. It's important to know when you have got to either let go, because you might as well talk to the wall over there because they're not listening to you, and that is having a detrimental effect on your own well-being. Or if you're in a situation that someone's asking something of you that you know is either triggering you, you're worrying about something, whatever it is, you can't sleep, whatever it is, it's having a detrimental effect on you, you need to put a boundary in, because you are the most important person in your life. If you're not okay, you can't support anybody else. And I am learning this lesson so hard over the last year. Also, remembering that we cannot do other people's lessons for them. They have to do that inner work themselves, and they will do it when they are ready, not when we want them to. Because sometimes, especially with your kids or your friends, you can see the pattern, the behaviour. You may well have, you've probably done it yourself, either in this lifetime or another. And you know the outcome of the road that they're on. We are not here to save people. We're here to hold space and help where we can. But it's important to know when to step back and let them fall. And that's really hard to watch. To let them find their own path. To let them make their own mistakes. Because you've done it. You've got the t-shirt, the badge, and you're desperately trying to help them. But they're not listening. If someone's not listening to you, you have to take a step back and just wait and see what happens. Because what you've said may well have filtered through eventually. Or they may have a lesson that they learn, and then they think, wow, Michelle told me that, Jane told me that, whoever, So it's important to know when to step back. And if you're dealing with a narcissist, and I'm going to do a completely different video on that, I have to be careful what I say here, but it is difficult because they just keep going. They have to win. They have to have the last word. They know best. If you're in that sort of relationship, then it's tough. It is really tough, but you're there to learn a lesson, as was I. Okay, so more of that on another day, because that's a whole new video. So it's about relationships this month. So if you need help with relationships, with loving you for who you are, unraveling your beliefs, something that was said to you as a kid that you've in that moment have believed and have run with it all your life. I've been doing work on those. Let me help you. Let me share my story. Some of it is quite personal, and I don't really want to plaster it all over social media, but I happily share when I'm doing my one-to-one sessions. So if you need someone to hold space, to just mirror back to you, then let me know. michellewestinfo@gmail.com. So today I'm going to pull some cards from the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck. I was drawn to this deck this morning by Stacey DeMarco, another one of my favourites. Got so many decks. Anyway, that's another story. So Metatron, could you give, actually I'm going to pull 3 cards because it's the start of the month. So what do we need to be focusing on during September? Okay, those just fell out. Let me just tune in here. for the 1st of September and for the month. Can we just give me 3 cards? So the first card, okay, here the first card he's saying is going to be for today. So let's just pull that one first. The 1st of September. Card for the 1st of September. Let's try on this one. Okay, we got extremes. Okay, we've got extremes. Okay. Okay, let's see what else we get, because I think there's more. That's going to be connected to the rest of the month. So 2 more cards for the for September, please, Metatron. 2 more cards. September. This one. Creation. Interesting. And this one, blossoming. Blossoming. Okay. So we got extremes. So we're going to go from one extreme to another. Is what I'm hearing. So yeah, you know, we could have a bit of passion in our lives. We could have the fact that you've actually had that difficult conversation and your connection is deepening with your intimate relationships. But we can also have polarity here. We can have the extreme of full-on anger, frustration, you're not listening to me, you're not hearing me, to this extreme of this loving connection where the relationship's in balance, Metatron's saying. So he's saying, you know, there is going to be extremes here to work through this month, but there is the opportunity to balance our intimate relationships. And I'm also hearing all of our relationships, but we have to do the inner work. And it's also saying to me, you need to learn when to step back and let go. So if you're in a toxic relationship, look at that. How is it affecting your health, your family life? Okay, but we've got extremes here. Okay, I like that, extremes. Because when we have extremes, we can see where it's out of balance, when it's not healthy, and then trying to do that inner work or have those conversations that brings us to the other. You know, and also, okay, thank you. He's saying the extremes of having that over, how can I put it into words? Can you give me the words, please? Yeah, that fiery extreme where someone's, you know, more powerful than another in a relationship. And then they're having this other end of the polarity where you've got somebody that is so suppressed and is so closed down they cannot communicate, and finding that middle ground between the two. So you've got someone that could be seen as over emotional. I don't believe in that. They're just able to express their emotions. And when someone labels someone as over emotional, it's normally somebody that is closed emotionally. And this person's getting over emotional because they're not being heard by the one that's closed down, that is not in connected to their emotions. They don't feel, they're out of their body, their heart is closed. Okay, so that it's finding that middle ground. Then we got creation, reminding us that we create our reality. So as I said at the beginning of this video, it's about looking at all your relationships and what you've learned. Going back to your journal maybe and looking at what you've written about your relationships over this last 6 months or even this year. Seeing what's changed, what you've learned, what's still coming up, what's still triggering you, what still needs to be worked through. So you create everything in your life. And I know that's hard to hear. I find it hard to hear sometimes too. So have that opportunity to create a better version of this. Yeah, of the extremes. We don't want the extreme. We want the middle way. We want balance. So remembering your thoughts, your self-talk is creating your reality. So be mindful of what you're saying. That's one I need to work on as well. Remember, I'm walking this path with you. I'm not sitting here with all the answers telling you what to do. I would never do that. But, you know, I'm just sharing my experiences and hoping it helps you. And I'm absolutely doing the work. So then we've got blossoming. Isn't that beautiful? She's playing a tune. She's playing a tune. I love that. What does that, what, okay. So Metatron's saying here, when we do the inner work, when we look at when we're being extreme in a relationship, over sensitive as well, you know, being aggressive, not coming from a place of love, we're creating more of this. Yeah, we're creating more. So we want to find that inner ground, that balance. So when we're creating and we start to really think about what we want that relationship to look like, and it may be time to just end it, okay? Remember, we have soul contracts, and once they come to a close, when you've learned everything you need to from one another, that's it, it's done, okay? We start to blossom. We start to create a loving relationship with ourselves and others, but it starts with us, and we start to blossom, and we start to have that joy, and we can expand our hearts, and we can shine our love out to the universe. Our heart is going to come wide open to receiving love and giving love in equal measures. So that's September. So your relationships, if you do the inner work, you look at them, you know when to step back and allow that person some space to learn and grow in the same ways you're trying to, then your relationship will blossom. Okay, sometimes you just need to put the seed in and just step back and let it start to grow. So love to you all today. I hope this helps, and I'll be back tomorrow on my birthday. Take care. Bye for now.